This was another case when I was in elementary school. The girls didn't want to be bothered with no dark skinned dude. Light skin was quote unquote in at the time, and this was before Wesley Snipes and Michael Jordan and all those other handsome dark skinned brothers. And I remember when we would be in when I was in elementary school. Again, this was Campbell Elementary, and we would always pick girlfriend. We would always pair up boyfriends and girlfriends in the class, and nobody wanted to be my girlfriend because I was dark. And even the dark-skinned sister, I remember her name. I don't remember her last name. It was Kimberly something. They tried to put us together, and they said, since y'all black, y'all do the damn thing. And she was like, I ain't black. She was like, I ain't black. And I ain't gonna be with no Earl. I don't want no black boys. And I was like, wow. I mean, there just wasn't no escape from it. So, it was impactful. Like I said, it was devastating that so many of my peers at that time in my life was carrying self-hate, and they got it from their parents and the media and other people in our community. But that was it. That up until the point where I was 16, most sisters that I knew, they just, light-skinned, curly-haired brothers, and most of us dark-skinned brothers, unless we had a lot of dough, we wasn't getting no play. And I was among those who wasn't getting any play. So, the good thing about it is I got a chance to be a kid instead of chasing girls when I was little. So that was that was another part of quite memorable moments that I still think about today. And I'm 38. Yes. I remember I was dating a sister, and the sister was, I don't like to say fair skinned because the opposite of fair is foul. It was a light skinned sister. And I met most of her family, but she didn't want to take me to meet her grandmother. And I think I was in my late teens or early 20s at the time, early 20s. And she didn't want me to take, it's always the grandmothers that I had an issue with this. And I don't want to call it a Southern mentality, but this was sort of part of a Southern mentality of having babies by dark-skinned men. She didn't want me to meet her grandmother because her grandmother all her life told them don't have babies by dark-skinned men because they were going to be black and their hair was going to be nappy. So every time we would talk about going over at a family house or going to a family event, she would always say, okay, my grandma gonna be there. I told you she don't want me to be having no babies with no dark-skinned dudes, no black boys. And so I'm like, we ain't gonna have no babies anyway, so she don't have a problem. She shouldn't have a problem. But even though by that time I had some cultural awareness to myself, so it didn't devastate me. I was used to it at that time, but that was something that stuck out. Some of the most inconsiderate things that people have said to me. I just made a post on the social networking website where this brother of mine, a friend of mine, used to call me blacker than 44 midnights. And I used to avoid him. And when I see him coming, I used to go the other way because I knew that that's what was coming. Blacker than 44 midnights. And everybody would laugh with me. So I've been called blacker than 44 midnights, tar baby. I remember one time I was in middle school, or I was in Campbell Elementary School, and we were in art class, and one of my classmates had a pencil and drew a little black dot on a sheet of paper, and he held the picture up and said, this was Earl, which is my government name. He said, this is Earl's class picture. And everybody in the class fell out laughing, and that was horrible. So I didn't heard the gamut of black jokes. Tar baby, like I said, blacker than 44 midnights, black spot, dot, gorilla, and anything that had to do with anything black and negative. Not black and beautiful, but anything that had to do with something that was demeaning to me. I didn't heard it all. So it's nothing new that I can hear now. So, it doesn't affect me anymore, but it did tremendously when I was little. The worst thing I've seen happen didn't necessarily happen to an individual, but more so the self-esteem of people. How we, because by us being dark-skinned, we tried to separate ourselves from anything that had to do with blackness, which was the epitome of what we are. So we denied African people, we denied who we were, we denied our skin complexion, we looked outside of ourselves for beauty. And I think I can speak for a lot of other dark-skinned people who went through who went through these same things that I went through, is that, we looked other places for beauty instead of looking inside of ourselves. We didn't see beauty when we looked in the mirror. We didn't see beauty when we were researching African history in earlier in middle school and in elementary school. And it made us lash out in different ways. Some of us became violent. Some of us did damage to our skin, bleaching our skin. And you see people my complexion with blonde hair and green contact lenses. I think the worst thing that you can do to people, or they will allow to happen to them, is to take their self-esteem away and to take away who they are. Being an African is the essence of who I am. And that's from my skin to my bones, and I understand that now. So I think the most devastating thing that happened to me was for me to not see beauty in myself. And it took almost all of my adulthood for me to recognize that I'm beautiful, very beautiful. The worst experience that I've had with continental Africans was I've always had a good kinship with Wolof people from Senegal. They've always welcomed me as one of their own. I was in a store ran by two Senegalese brothers here, and there was a Wolof brother in there, and he was talking down about me being an African American and Wolof, not understanding that I understood Wolof. So, he was making all these jokes about me, and, nobody was laughing because my two friends knew that I knew Wolof because they were helping me learn it. They were teaching me Wolof. So, I just made a comment to him that at one point in history, all of our ancestors were under the gun. Either it was colonialism or chattel slavery. And when he found out that I knew Wolof, he just basically submitted himself or prostrated himself to me. He was so apologetic after that, and I was like, no, because if I didn't understand Wolof, you would have kept at it. So that probably was my only bad experience with continental Africans. My best encounter with a continental African brother was, again, an elder and one of my brothers from Senegal at the African World Festival in Detroit. I was walking past their booth, and I, spoke to my brother Nagadef, which means hello in Wolof, and he spoke back to me, Mangi Fure. So it was an elder behind him, and the elder started speaking Wolof running it down, and I'm just like, all I know is the greetings. So the elder was talking to me, and I didn't know it, and I started to walk away from him, and he grabbed me by my arm, and he was like, basically, did you hear me talking to you? My friend Lot. No, elder, no. He was born here. He's not Lot. He's not Wolof. He don't understand our language. And the elder told him in Wolof, he got to be Wolof. What do you mean he's not Wolof? Look at him. So my friend said, well, my elder think that you are from Senegal and you're being disrespectful. So I said, please tell the elder, not, and after everything was cleared up, the elder gave me a hug, and, we still communicate to this day, and he told me, he apologized, he said, you gotta be from Senegal. He said, there's no way that your ancestors are from anywhere else but Senegal. Fine with me. So that probably was I probably can think of some other ones, but that will always stand out to me, because even with him grabbing my arm, I was honored for him thinking that I was one of his own. In closing, I just would like to give references for any young brother or sister who's struggling with being dark-skinned, as my own daughter once was. The autobiography of Malcolm X by Alex Haley, From the Broader File by Anthony T. Broader, The ISIS Papers by Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, and also Black Gods, Orisha Studies in the New World by Baba John Mason. All this information that I came across assisted me on the path that I'm on today, as far as loving myself. As you can see probably from the documentary, that there are still some deep-seated issues that probably will take a while to dissipate in me. But for the most part, I think I'm healed from that aspect of self-hate, of my skin complexion. I understand that, we are African people, and African people are dark-skinned people. African people are brown-skinned and light-skinned people. What we got from slavery was for us to hate ourselves and for us to hate our skin complexion. They understood, slave masters understood that the darker Africans had a spiritual aspect about themselves, or just Africans in general had a spiritual aspect about themselves, that they had to find something, whether it was our hair, our nose, our skin complexion, to demean us, so we can take that, so we won't be attracted to that, so we won't be attracted to that spiritual power that we had. So when you begin to love yourself, and it really doesn't matter what religion that you gravitate to, when you begin to love yourself as an African person, a whole new reality opens up for you. A whole new world opens up for you. You begin to be who you came to this earth to be when you start respecting and loving yourself in totality. From my nappy hair, my dark skin, my slanted eyes. I love everything about myself, and I like to give praise and reverence to my ancestors and my deities for allowing me to carry their DNA in them. And I also like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to tell my story. So, Ire Bobo O, and that means many blessings.